welcome everyone to the webinar where we would be having a quick look on that what is the value of PMP credential. Like we all must have heard of about this particular certification, that is PMP, and you might have heard a lot of people saying that you should do it, you should do it, it's very good, and it's really nice. So basically that's what we are going to have a quick look today at, that how this can be helpful and what are the other aspects related to PMP credential, and some valuation, some information about how to apply for this examination and what to expect in the examination. So just a quick brief on all these little pointers. So let's look at the first slide. So this slide is going to talk about PMI certification programs. So first of all, PMI is the institute, Project Management Institute, who is actually the proprietor of PMP and other project management related trainings and certifications. So this is the organization who is overlooking the PMP as a certification. And other than PMP, they have got quite a few different certifications like Certified Associate in Project Management, which is CAPM. Then we have Program Management Professional, which is the next level after the Project Management Professional. Then even after the Program Management Professional, they have also got Portfolio Management Professional certification. Then recently PMI has come up with ACP certification, which stands for Agile Certified Practitioner. So if any of your industry demands for agile project management, then for those people this particular certification is suited. Then they also have Risk Management Professional, which is specifically going to concentrate on how to make sure that for any of the given projects we are able to perform proper risk management. Then they also have PMI Scheduling Professional, which would help you to make sure that as far as the scheduling, as far as the planning of the activities of a project is concerned, you are expert in that. So these are all the different certifications that PMI provides when it comes to project management. PMI certification and credentials are distinguished by their global development and application, which makes them transferable across industries and geographic borders. Now this is one of the most important things, that why PMI's certifications are valued so much. Now what it says is that any of these certifications that you pick up, be it PMP or RMP or Program Management Professional or SP certification, any certification, this is not industry specific, this is not domain specific, and this is not region specific. So these are the best practices from different industries, from different regions. So basically if you achieve any of these credentials, it not only going to help you in a particular sector, but it allows the same credential to be transferred across different industries, across different geographical locations. So that is one of the very important aspect of any of the PMI's certification. Then PMI certification program is designed to ensure that all certification holders have demonstrated their competence through fair and valid measures. So again, the second very important fact related to any of the PMI certification is that the way they test you, the way they test your knowledge, the way they test your ability to apply the knowledge is proven, and it has been seen that the tests, the examinations that PMI is conducting is one of the most difficult ones, and it makes sure it tests your compliance in terms of knowledge, in terms of application of the knowledge. So that's why again it's valued, that anyone who has cleared this certification would demonstrate automatically that he has the knowledge and he has the ability to apply that knowledge. So those are the two very important bullet points associated with the PMI certification, be it any of them, not just PMP. So that was a very generic discussion about PMI certification. Now let's look at the next slide, which is going to get more concentrated, and over here we would be discussing on the value of just one of their credential, one of the PMI's credential, which is PMP. So number one, globally recognized and demanded. So probably many of you might be listed on different job portals, or you might be looking, or you might be browsing across different jobs, and most of the time whenever you see any project management related job opening, you would see that they at least ask the candidate to be PMP certified. So this is what we say that, or this is what we mean when we say that it is globally recognized and demanded. So it's not just in US, because otherwise PMP is coming from USA. So it is not just USA, but even Western Europe, or Southeast Asia, or African countries. So are they all recognize this particular PMP as a project management credential, and they require people who are certified on PMP. It demonstrates the position of project management knowledge, experience, and skills. So you can see that just one certification is actually certifying you as an individual to have the knowledge related to project management, that how to manage the projects. At the same time, it is also giving you the certification, or it is also certifying you as an individual that you have the relevant experience with you to work on projects, and the skills that would have been measured during your certification, that you can apply this knowledge in real life. So just one certification demonstrates three different areas, which are the key areas whenever you are, or whenever anyone who's recruiting a resource would be looking at that. Does he have the right knowledge, does he have the right experience, and does he have the skills? So all these three would be answered by just one thing on your profile, and that would be your PMP credential. Credential recognizes the competence of an individual to perform in the role of a project manager. So once again, as this PMP certification is targeted for the project managers or the candidates who want to become the project manager, and till now they have been working as an associate project manager, or they have been working at a certain level under the project manager. So for them, it is a very good way of showing it or showcasing it to the organization that yes, we have the capability, we have the right competence, we are we would be able to perform in the role of project manager, because the way PMP tests your knowledge, it makes sure that it puts you in the shoes of the project manager, and then it asks you to answer what you would have done in this situation. So yes, it helps the organization to even recognize that you would be suited as an individual for the project manager role. PMP credential individuals have commanded a higher salary over non-credentialated individuals. So once again, everything comes at the end to one thing, or means you can put everything down to one thing, and that would be the remuneration, or that would be the salary. So which has been again one of the very strong points when it comes to PMP credentials, that anyone who is a PMP credential holder has always shown to have better salaries than the people who are working in the same profile but without having a PMP credential. So this is not just anyone saying, or anyone pointing it out. Rather, this is a proven fact with the case studies. There are, if you go to PMI's website, you would find there are case studies to prove this, that generally there is almost as much as 40% of difference between the salary of credential holders and non-credential holders. So that is again one of the very important things and probably the most lucrative of all, that why you want to do this PMP certification. So those were some of the I can say the most important um, values that are associated with the PMP credential, that why you should get yourself PMP certified. Now let's look at the quick roadmap that how to become PMP certified. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to submit your application. Once you have started filling your application, you would have 90 days to complete your application and submit it to PMI. Once you submit it to PMI, within 5 days they would do a completeness check on your profile, on your application, and ensure that every information that you have typed in is complete, not correct but just complete. So they are looking for anything that you might have missed. So if everything is complete, then they will ask you to do the payment. Once you make the payment, there can be two scenarios, that basically there would be an audit process, and if your application gets through the audit process, which means your application gets approved, then you would have the option to take the exam within 1 year from that date of application getting approved. Now over here there could be another process which we call as application audit process, which is a different process where around 20% of the applications PMI asks applicants to submit the documents supporting their application. So if you end up in that audit process, then you would have to just send the documents to support whatever you have written down in your application, and once they receive your documents, once again they would review it, approve it, reject it. If it's approved, you have the choice to you have the option to schedule your exam in 1 year from that date of approval. And if it gets rejected in any of the case, then they would be charging a $100 process fee, and they would be refunding rest of your payment. Now once you get the eligibility ID, which is valid for 1 year, you are then allowed to take the exam up to 3 times in that 1 year if you fail your first and second attempt. If you become certified on PMP, then your certification cycle starts. Now this certification cycle basically is starting from the day of your PMP credential certification for the next 3 years. So the day you get PMP certified, then you have to maintain your certification for next 3 years by showing to PMI that you have done 60 hours of self-development, or you have done 60 hours of professional development for yourself, and those 60 hours can be distributed in any manner throughout those 3 years. So that is called as credential maintenance, where you have to show that in the time span of 3 years you have earned 60 PDUs, or 60 professional development unit, which is one PDU is equal to 1 hour. So 60 hours of professional development has been done in these 3 years. If you showcase that, then your credential will get renewed and the same cycle will start once again for the next 3 years. If you fail to submit these 60 PDUs over 3 years, then you would be having a 1 year of suspension, in which you are again allowed to submit the same information, which is about the 60 PDUs, and once you do so, again your certification cycle will start. But if you fail to submit it during that 1 year of suspension, then your credential would expire. So generally, until unless you have not completely moved out of that role and you don't require PMP certification at all in your kitty, then only you would be leading towards this road. But otherwise they give you good enough time and good enough reminders to make sure that you do not miss on filling the PDUs. So you can fill the PDUs and get them approved, and your certification cycle gets renewed. So that is the quick overview of how the credential process flows. Now let's look at the eligibility criteria, that what you need to have in order to sit for the exam. So first is that either you need to be a secondary degree holder, which is like a high school, or for my Indian friends I can say it would be 10+2 degree. And then there could be another scenario that you are a bachelor's degree holder, or a 4-year degree holder, or any other global equivalent to 4-year degree or bachelor's degree. So once again, in India generally till now we used to have 3 years of degree for bachelor's degree, but now they have changed it to 4 years degree to make it standardized with the rest of the world. But yes, if you still means if you have a 3 years bachelor's degree, that is also going to work, not a problem. Now if you are a secondary degree holder, then there is a different path. And if you are a bachelor's degree or more than that, like master's or doctorate, then there's a different path. So in first case, you need to show 5 years of experience spread over 60 months, of course, with 7,500 hours of experience in leading the projects. So it could be in a role of associate project manager or a team leader or any other supervisory role in the project, but you have to make sure that you show that 7,500 hours you have worked as leading and managing the projects and not as a team member. Then if you are a bachelor's degree holder, this experience criteria gets lowered down from 5 years to 3 years, and instead of 7,500 hours you only need to show 4,500 hours, exactly in the same manner, with the management experience, not an experience of a team member. In both the scenarios you need 35 contact hours of formal education, which you can get from some PMP training programs that run for on weekends or on weekdays. So there has to be 35 hours minimum education that you need to attain in respect to project management before you can sit for this PMP exam. So basically these are the 3 different criteria that you need to fulfill. Once you have fulfilled all these 3 criteria, depending upon whichever educational background you are from, then you can sit for the PMP exam, means that makes you eligible to sit for the PMP exam. Now next is online application. So PMI encourages the candidates to apply for their examinations using the online forms that they have on their website. So you can just log into PMI's website, sign up for free, and use their online application to submit your application for any of the credential. Make sure you meet the credential eligibility requirements and can record the necessary information on the application. Like I said, I told you 2 slides back that once you start your online application, you cannot cancel it. You can save it unfinished, come back to it later, edit any information that you want to do, and your application will remain open for 90 days, during which time PMI will send you email reminders to complete the application. But after 90 days, it would show as expired and you would have to restart or reopen the application. Valid unique email address as a primary mode of communication from PMI. So if you have already got your email address registered on PMI's website, then it would not allow you to register that email address once again. And you have the responsibility to schedule and sit for your exam within the 1-year eligibility period. So the day PMI tells you that your application is approved and your eligibility ID is so and so, you have 1 year to schedule your exam and sit for that exam. The exam fee structure is something like this, that if you are a PMI's member, then it would only cost you $405, and if you are not a member, then it would cost you $555, which is for the online exam. If you are opting for paper-based exam, then in that case the fee structure changes for again, but there would be a difference for member and non-member, which you can clearly see here. And if somehow you fail your first attempt, then your second attempts are also going to cost you some money, but not as much as the first attempt. So you can see that the difference is there. 275 for members and 375 for non-members if it's the online testing, and similarly for paper-based testing as well. Now, if you become and if you achieve the PMP certification, at the end of the third year, there is a renewal process that I was telling you earlier. So for that, if you are a member, you would have to pay a fee of $60 to get your credential renewed. And if you're not a member, then you will have to pay $150 as the fee for renewal. First membership is as cheap as $120. And thereon, if you are in certain countries like India or some other countries are there which is listed on PMI's website, your second year onwards membership would just cost you $60. So it's a substantial amount of money which you can save by just becoming the member, because you can see the difference in the exam fee itself is $150, which is far more than what you would have to pay to become a member. And once you become a member, you of course get all the access to PMI's resources, including PMBOK guide, different case studies, and other study material like ebooks and all those things. So you can get that for free. Now, so it's always recommended that you become a member and then do all these examination and renewal of credential. So it helps you to save good amount of money. You can use different methods like credit card, check, money order, or wire transfer. Refund policy, like I explained you, that if your application is rejected, you would be charged a processing fee of $100 and rest of the money would be returned back to you, which is what it tells you in the second point. In the first point, it says to obtain a refund for the PMP credential, you must submit a written request to PMI at least 30 days before exam eligibility expiration date. So what it means is that on the date you got the approval and you got your eligibility criteria, you've got 11 months to decide whether you want to cancel the exam and get the refund, or cancel this application and get the refund, because from the start of the 12th month you would not be allowed to take any refund. So if you write to PMI that I want a refund in the first 11 months of your eligibility period, then they will keep $100 of processing fee and rest of the money would be given back to you. And similarly, even if your application gets rejected, in that case also they would keep $100 of processing fee and return rest of your money. Now, I was explaining you about the second process of audit, which is detailed out here, that during an audit, you will be asked to submit supporting documentation like copies of your whatever education you have told them, secondary or diploma or global equivalent, signatures from your supervisors or managers from the projects that you have shown in the application to PMI, that these are the different projects I have worked on in the last 5 years. So all those projects would need to be verified from the respective supervisors, and of course copy of certificate or letter from the training institute who provided you with the 35 contact hours for the project management education. So you would have to send the hard copy of each of these to PMI, and then within 7 working days, 5 to 7 working days, they would reply back to you after studying your documents and either approve or reject your application. And once your application gets into the audit process, you are given 90 additional days to submit all the requested documentation. Now let's talk about the examination itself. So the PMP examination comprises of 200 multiple choice questions. Out of these 200 questions, 25 questions are considered as pre-test questions. Now basically what happens is that out of these 200 questions, only 175 questions are scored and rest of the 25 questions are not scored. They are for statistical purposes, They are for testing the questions. They are like test questions, and PMI is trying to decide by looking at the answers that you give to that question that whether they are suitable to be included in the next set of questions or not. So you would not be marked on those 25 questions whether you do them right or wrong. But unfortunately, you would not be aware that which are those 25 questions that you would not be marked on in the exam. So for you, you have to treat all those 25 questions equally. Yatin, the details that PMI asks you to share with them is just the title of the project, the duration from start date to end date, when did you start, when did you finish your project, who was your supervisor, his contact number, his email address, and which organization did you work for. That's it. So they don't ask you any great details about your projects, that what exactly you were doing in the project, or what was the nature of the project. So they don't ask you any of these sort of questions. So this is very high level information. And if you still think that there is some data protection act or some compliance related issue that you would not be able to share it, then in that case you would have to take an approval from your um, supervisor, that, or maybe from your HR or from your IT team, that whether you can share the data or not. Yes, so if it doesn't matter where is your immediate boss, but definitely I'm sure that they can send you the signed copy of their approvals for the PMI's audit purpose through the courier or through some other way, because you've got 90 days to submit the application documents or application related documents, which is quite a long time period. It's like 3 months you have got, and I'm sure there could be at least 2 times to and fro that can happen between these 3 months, from India to USA and USA to India. So the allotted time to complete this exam is 4 hours. You would be given 4 hours to answer 200 questions, so that just gives you over 1 minute on each question, because 4 hours translate to 240 questions, 40 minutes. So that's just over a minute for each question. No, Amitabh, no, it wouldn't work. See, basically what happens is that if at all your application gets into the audit process, which is like 20% chances only, in that case, PMI tells you, or PMI gives you the format. It's a print ready format that you can just print those PDF files, and you can ask your previous supervisor from previous organization to do a signature on that um, already printed format from the, or already defined format from the PMI, that yes, the information that you have shared is truth, it's truthful, and it doesn't have anything which can be obligated as such. So it's their format in which you have to print that particular experience letter out and then get it signed. Is it possible to use MBA as part of project management experience? See, any projects that you might have done during your MBA can be used as a experience, but not the MBA itself. So generally, I guess you have to work on some projects when you're doing your masters. So whatever project you have worked on during your masters, you can definitely show that as the um, experience. So computer-based testing is a standard method for administration for PMI examinations. So generally, the CBT is always the standard method until and unless you are not in a region where there is no authorized um, testing center for CBT. They would not allow you to take the PBT, which is paper-based testing. So only and only in the circumstance where you are situated in such a region where there is no CBT authorized testing center, they will then only allow you to take the PBT. Otherwise, CBT is the standard method of administration. PMP exam information. See, when you talk about PMP, or when you talk about project management as such, then every project can be divided into 5 areas, which is namely initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, controlling, and closing. And when we talk about the PMP exam, in that particular exam, you would find the questions, 200 questions divided in this particular ratio respective to all the different domains. So 13% questions would be from initiation, 24% from planning, highest from execution because it is the test of your application as well. So application of project management would only come into picture during execution. So that's why highest number of questions come from execution. Then again monitoring, controlling 25 because this is something that you do throughout the project. So it's a sort of a never-ending process till the time project doesn't end. So that's why again quite a good number of percentage here. And then least percentage goes for closing. It's a very small phase of the project at the end, so not too many things out of there, but still 8% counts to be 16 questions out of 200 if I say. So that's a quite a bit. CBT, once you have got the eligibility ID, you can visit the prometric.com, and over there you have the option to select multiple from the multiple examination institutes, and you can select PMI, or you can directly go to prometric.com/PMI. Then you can select your country where you are living, your state, province, whatever is applicable. Select schedule and appointment option, agree to the policies and data privacy notice, enter your eligibility ID. So this eligibility ID would have been given to you on the day PMI said that okay, we approve your application and this is your eligibility ID. So as soon as you enter this eligibility ID on the PMI on the Prometrics website, they understand that you have already made the payment for this exam and they won't ask you to make any payment for this particular exam. Then you can make a selection from the different available test sites in your area. Generally you will only find one or at max two. I'm sure you wouldn't find any couple of sites in a near region in India at least. And then select the examination date and time and click on complete appointment. So this is a very generic procedure that you would follow for any exam on Prometrics website. Only difference is that for the PMP exam you would have to type in the eligibility ID given to you by the PMI. PMP examination, rescheduling or cancellation for CPT exam. So the previous refund that we looked at was under the situation when you have not yet scheduled for the exam. But let's say if you have scheduled for the exam and for some reason you have to reschedule it or you have to cancel it. In that case, if you do that before 30 days of your appointment, there won't be any charge to you. If you do it within 30 days but more than 2 days, then they would charge you $70. And if the cancellation happens within 2 days of your appointment, then they will forfeit your entire exam fee. When it comes to re-examination, I think you already understand the pricing, so I don't have to take that once again. But yes, we'll talk about this, that you are granted 1 year eligibility period in which you have to pass the examination. During the eligibility period, you may take the examination up to 3 times. I think this I have already told you, that you're allowed to take, you are allowed 2 retakes for the exam, and each retake would cost you 275 or 375 depending upon if you are a member or non-member for CBT, and 150 and 300 again depending upon member or non-member for PPT, paper-based testing. So if you fail the examination 3rd time as well, then what? Then your the day you fail the exam the 3rd time, from that day onwards for a complete year, you are blocked or you are not allowed to reapply. But then after that 1 year is completed, you can reapply the whole process once again and sit for the exam. So if you fail the examination 3 times within your 1 year eligibility period, you must wait 1 year from the date of the last examination you took to reapply for the credential. So whatever last date or whatever date you failed the exam for the 3rd time, you will have to wait 1 year. After that you can reapply. If your eligibility period expires without passing the exam, you must again reapply for the credential. So if you have not taken all the 3 attempts, or you have not taken the exam, or you have not scheduled the exam in that 1 year eligibility period, then again you have to reapply for the credential, and your exam fee that you paid to PMI would again be forfeited and would not be returned back to you. That was more or less about the PMP credential that we had to talk. Let me just quickly take you through to the two organizations that are in collaboration for delivering this webinar and doing other trainings as well. So WizIQ and Cognitel. So let me just quickly talk about both of them, and then I'll take all your questions one by one. So first, let's have a quick couple of seconds discussion about the WizIQ. So WizIQ is a training provider. Basically, they work in the training platform, and they have got this online platform that you are looking at right now. So this platform that you are using to listen to this webinar or to join this webinar is basically developed by WizIQ, and they've got more than 300,000 learners and 250,000, 100,000 plus instructors. So they've got a lot of experience in delivering online trainings. WizIQ Learning Marketplace comprises of 700 plus online live and video courses in domains like technology, languages, test preparations, lifestyle, management, and many more. Now, after that, we have PMP training at WizIQ. So online live classes are delivered in collaboration with Cognitel Training Services, who is a PMI registered education provider. It's a 36 hours of online training that we provide. Training is based on PMBOK 5th edition, which is the latest edition. 35 PDUs provided after successful completion of training. So we will provide you the required amount of required amount of education to make you eligible to sit for the exam. We have trained more than 800 plus learners successfully globally, and you can always go to this link and register yourself for the course if at all you would like to. Now, please let me know any questions that you have, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. No, it doesn't have to be end-to-end project management. As a project architect, what matters is that what was your role? Because see, project architect can have different responsibilities and different roles in different organization. So the point is that being a project architect, were you leading your team members to come up with the different designs or different ways to do the work? So were you yourself coming up with the all the designs, or were you leading a team to come up with the designs? So this is what you need to ask yourself. Yes. So if you were leading a team of architects, then definitely you can consider it for PMP, but otherwise not. Yes, Vijay, without studying the PMBOK, I don't think there would be any way that you can go or you can pass the examination. So that's what we do in the online virtual courses that Cognitel and WizIQ are providing. They take you through the whole PMBOK. Basically, the everything that you need to know from the PMBOK would be taught to you in those virtual classes, which are generally run at the weekend for 4 hours. No, Amitabh, no, it's a eligibility criteria, so you cannot apply until unless you don't have those 35 hours. So that's like basic minimum requirement that you have to satisfy. Yes, back to your MBA question. How would the class project be calculated? I say 4 credits, 4 contact hours. Yes, that is correct, Svetlana. That from your MBA, you can use the contact hours for your education experience, that probably all your 35 PDUs can come, sorry, 35 contact hours can come from the MBA classes that you have attended, and any topics related to project management would be eligible. So if you have got 36 hours or 35 hours of project related classes in your MBA program, then definitely you can count that as the education and you can consider that as eligible, but still your experience needs to come, which cannot come from your MBA. So after completing PMP and achieving 60 PDUs renewal of 60 buck is only after 3 years. Correct, Ritesh. So at the end of 3 years, you would have to pay $60 if you are a member and you show them 60 PDUs, and if they approve your 60 PDUs, you will get your PMP credential renewed for another 3 years. Sure, Vijay, I would have to um, go along with you on that, that experience, agreed, is definitely required to clear the exam, but you need to make sure that your experience is in line with what is written in the PMBOK. So many a times there would be certain terminologies, certain calculations, some other techniques that you might not be aware of, which you could only get to know from the trainings, or maybe by having a reading, by reading the PMBOK. So yes, you would have to go through some sort of training, because otherwise also it's a minimum eligibility criteria. It's a minimum requirement that you have to have 35 hours of project management related education. So if I can take you guys back to the slide of the eligibility criteria, you can see that you have to have 35 contact hours of formal education, which has to be related to project management. So without that, otherwise also you cannot pass the, or you cannot sit for the exam. Amitabh, hold on. I am 3.5 experience as a project engineer managing projects independently. Yes, sure, you can definitely go for PMP credential, because you are an engineer, so I am considering that you would have the BTech as your bachelor's degree, so which is the one of the criterias which you fulfill, and you have 3.5 years, so again you have more than 3 years, which is again second criteria is also fulfilled. So the only thing that you would now need is the 35 contact hours for formal project management education. Farah, I think it would be $120 for those who are in US for every year of renewal. That $60 rate, Farah, is only for certain countries. So yeah, hold on. Okay. Vijay, Cognitel will help you to understand the concepts, to understand the prescribed best practices as per the PMBOK. They will make sure that you understand all those concepts and you're well versed with all those things. And of course, they have got their own um, testing methods. They have got their own examinations. They have got, you can say, assessments going around from time to time to ensure that you are keeping up with all the things. And they also have their own online PMP simulation which you can sign up for, and you can take their exams over there, so which would be a great help for you to prepare for the exams. Ritesh, it's not necessary for you to renew the membership at all. Reason being that that membership, they would of course ask you, or they would request you to renew next year, but you can decide not to renew. And probably if you want to renew, and if you are in India, then you can do it for $60, and probably it would be best for you if you can plan your PMP exam in this year when your PMP membership is still valid, so that at least you can take the benefit of that discounted rate for the members that they have for PMP exam. There was this link that we just shared. You can either look at that link, or you can contact them at this email address, which is pm-training@cognitel.com, or there is another link which is on the WizIQ website. So both of these links or these ways should be able to get you in touch with them. Exactly, like I said, that for the WizIQ, you can contact at this email address as given by Mr. Sanjeev, courses@wiziq.com. Okay, Amitabh, sorry, can I get project experience on company letter, head signed by manager stating the name of the project, or just project type? Amitabh, you don't have to get into all those things. You don't have to do any of those at all until unless your application doesn't get processed under the audit process of PMI. If it does, PMI will give you a print ready experience letter which you can just print out, and you would have to print it out on a simple any A4 sheet and get it signed with your respective supervisor or respective manager for the projects and send it back to PMI in hard copy. Bhanu, you can always um, get enrolled in some PM training classes like Cognitel and WizIQ are running over here. So they have a weekend batches scheduled for every Saturday and Sunday, and it's a 4-hour session on each weekend. Every Saturday, Sunday, it's a 4-hour session. So you can get yourself enrolled in one of such courses, and that should provide you with the 35 hours of education requirement. So yes, Vijay, definitely there is a fee that is charged by Cognitel. So they are charging you $89 for online training at WizIQ, which is provided by Cognitel Training Organization. Svetlana, I will suggest that studying the PMBOK guide would be one of the first things that you should do. So try to finish that book as quickly as possible, and after that it's very much necessary that you practice lots and lots of questions online that are available on different websites, like Cognitel themselves are providing you a simulation. So exam simulation is very important to make sure that you sit and make sure that you pass the exam, because it's more about how, or more about getting accustomed to answer the questions in the real time, not about the knowledge, because of course it's about the knowledge as well, but then it's the thing that actually becomes worst factor or becomes the biggest factor to stop you from getting PMP is that you are not able to understand the questions quick enough. Um, Okay, Ritesh. So for me, I am both PMP and Prince2 certified. So the number one reason for that was I am into training industry, and I have to get both, means I have to take the batches of both PMP as well as Prince2. So that's why I got both certified on both of them. And actually I got certified on Prince2 first before I got certified on PMP. And for that, the reason was that my employer earlier was from UK, and in UK UK is all dominant by Prince2. So that's why I had to go for Prince2 first, and then I moved into training industry. I used my Prince2 certification, and then I got my PMP certification as well. Classroom trainings, as such, I don't think that we are providing any classroom trainings, but you can definitely get in touch with a Cognitel or WizIQ. They should be able to provide you more details about the classroom trainings. Like Sanjeev said, that yes, Cognitel is providing the classroom trainings at different locations, but because WizIQ is an online platform, so of course they would not be dealing in as such into the online classroom trainings, but surely you can get in touch with Cognitel. If there are any public, can get in touch with you, Vijay, and you can then decide. Okay, in Bangalore, please provide me location. Vijay, once again, please request you to get in touch with pm-training@cognitel.com, and they should be able to give you all the details in terms of location, timings, and any schedules. Amitabh, PMI should be able to give you the PMBOK after once you have got yourself registered. Correct. Like Ritesh said, pay that amount, become the member, take the PMBOK, and then when you are sitting in the exam, you will automatically get the benefit of being a member, and rest of that $157 that you spend will automatically be refunded to you in a way by charging you less on examination fee. So if that is all, then we'll call it a day, and I hope you got something, you took something, you learned something from this webinar, and hopefully you would all be soon calling yourself as PMP certified practitioners. All right guys, so good night and see you.